You're listening to the Chronicles of Living podcast, where we talk to everyday people about everyday things in the past, present, and future. Now let's talk. Greetings, 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 my visionary dreamers. This is your host, adionne-your-dream-pusher, your lifeguard, saving you from yourself, from the world, from some real bullshit. And you are listening to Chronicles of Living podcast show, the show for everyday people doing everyday things, living everyday life. You know us normal folks doing the damn thing the best way we can. And today is the first video interview, and I have special guest Nate Belly with us today. Thank you, Nate, for coming. And we're just going to have a conversation. Today's topic is, are you leaving a legacy or a mess? And just a quick introduction about Nate Belly. This man has done so much. He has served our country as a platoon leader, a lieutenant. He has led 42 soldiers to safety in, the Operation Iraq Freedom. And Kuwait. Yeah. Wow, that's such a huge accomplishment just to be over so many lives, you know. And Nate has also, he's ran so many different events. I don't know how he's still here in one piece. You know, he's done the Ironman, Arizona. He's done, the Kokoro 45, and the 100-mile solo run and Go Ruck selection. So many other things. He has been on TEDx. I mean, this guy is awesome. I mean, a trainer, a leader inside of Prosperity Revolution. And he has been in the real estate business and the insurance business. Same things I've been into, so I know how that goes. And has been able to successfully transfer those skills over and sell his business to do what it is he really loves, and that is coaching and leading people. So I'm just going to let you tell everyone the rest, because I don't want to just give everything away, okay? So tell us more about, you know, Nate Belly, and how did this Superman come to existence, you know?
Yeah, well, wow, thank you for the introduction. Yeah, it's I don't know. I've always been one to want to lead, to grow, to always be learning, to pushing, to be doing hard things, and to ultimately do what I am doing today. I don't think I ever knew exactly what it was going to look like. I always felt this calling to, like I said, be a leader. That's what led me to start my own businesses inside of insurance, real estate. I owned a CrossFit gym for a while as well. I've always wanted to be a leader, a business owner, an entrepreneur. I was a leader inside of the Army, like you said, a lieutenant, platoon leader. Mm-hmm. And I just remember from a very young age, you know, if you can remember back to school, there'd be these speakers that would come throughout the year, and you got to get out of class and go in the auditorium and listen to them speak for an hour or two. And I just thought that was the coolest thing, that these people will travel around the country and go from school to school and talk and speak and motivate and inspire. And at that time, I didn't know that I would be doing something similar to that. I just remember thinking that was pretty awesome. And then here I am today. One thing leads to another, and all of our experiences, I think we all realize that and see that inside of our lives, that you don't always know exactly why things happen, but then, you know, later on down the road, you realize that had happened to prepare you for exactly where you are today. So my path has brought me to where I am today, just as everyone else's path has brought them to where they are. So I just love doing what I do. Sold my insurance business here back in February. I'm actually in California right now. We just finished up in an event. And I'm in my hotel room right now and here with you today. And so
Yes. And also, guys, just to mention also, he is an author, a well-known author, and he has written 2 books so far. Why don't you tell us about your books?
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, just like the rest of my life, if anything, I am too stupid to quit, or when I get an idea in my head, I just go and I decide to do it. And I don't wait for it to be perfect. We talk about inside of the prosperity revolution, like you mentioned, progress, not perfection. We're not going to wait for it to be perfect. We're going to go out, we're going to ship, we're going to take action, execute today, every single day, keep taking small little steps to get where we want to go in life. And so that's kind of what happened with the books. I had a message that I wanted to share. And the first one, it's just like what I'll tell my clients and the people that I lead and coach is that you have to suck in the beginning, and you're going to suck in the beginning.
Yes.
Really good at anything. And so I sucked in the beginning with my very first book. It was like, I don't know, 60 pages, like double spaced, big font. I just wrote it. I put it out there. And then about a year later, decided I was going to do another one, and really just kind of expanded on the first one that I did. The first one, I don't even remember what it was called right now, but I believe it was like Living a Legacy Lifestyle. I think it was the 9 pillars to living a legacy lifestyle or something like that. You can get it on Amazon. You can find it on Amazon and order it. Then then the next one was all about, it was called Live Your Legacy. And so it's a book, but it's also got a 90-day roadmap inside of there, which is really kind of a planner to help you to execute on the things that you need to do to actually live a legacy. People talk about leaving a legacy all the time. Well, I had the concept of why, if you're living to ultimately leave a legacy for someone else, you can kind of get caught up in this pattern of continually pushing to leave something for someone else once you're gone, so that people will be able to remember, whether that's finances or whether that's a legacy of just, remembering who you were as a man or a father or a husband or a business owner, or how you took care of your body. And I want to be able to not only leave this great legacy, but to live it. And if I live every single day, today in the present, to build and be the person that I want to be, ultimately, I know I will leave that legacy. And so I want to enjoy the journey, right? Life's a big journey. You push, you set out big targets and goals to achieve different things. But at the same time, it's not all about achievement, but fulfillment and living this fulfilling life. And so I think that's what I look at when I think of Live Your Legacy. And so, yeah, that was my latest book was called Live Your Legacy, the 90-day lifestyle roadmap.
Great. Yes. And I'm going to definitely have those links in the description box on the podcast show, on the YouTube. So definitely look out and support this man, because, I feel like I'm like a quarter of a female version because I believe the same thing. And this is why I started the podcast show. This is why this podcast show is so raw. I don't clean up on the mistakes, because I feel the same way, Nate, that you have to start somewhere. And a lot of people don't start because they believe that you have to be perfect. Everything has to be perfect. And so you work so hard to make this thing perfect. And before you know, there's a month, there's a year, there's 5 years that's gone. And if you could have just started where you were, it would have, by 5 years, would have been great. You know what I mean? Yeah, everybody has to get a start, and there are going to be hiccups along the way. And that is what just makes you tough, and you're going to take your criticism. And you just have to take that and build off of it. And this is where it all begins, So I thank you so much, because it's like you're echoing the things that I've been telling everyone, my visionary dreamers for this year. And also, this is a year that the show has been on. And because of what you just said, as far as it's not going to be perfect, I started the 13th of August last year. And I said, no matter what, I'm going to go on. There has been a rough road this year. And I've pulled over at gas stations to do the show, and traveling and all of these things. And sometimes the mic was crappy. But it just shows people when they can hear people like yourself and like me tell them, like, look, just do it. Just start somewhere. This is what you love to do. It's going to conform, and all of those things, like you said, along the way that you do, it all adds up. It all adds up, you know? So tell us about, you know, when you were out there doing this whole, that 45, that I don't want to say the name wrong again.
Kokoro.
Yeah, Kokoro. Because I was looking at your video on that and you speaking about that, and it's like you had to endure so much. Can you tell the listeners about the things that you had to endure and other men had to endure and what that looked like, you know?
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, I think you must be talking about the TEDx talk that I did.
Yes.
Kokoro 45 and really who I had to become to be able to. So Kokoro, there's a company called Seal Fit Kokoro. Mark Devine owns Seal Fit, and some of you may have heard of him. He's written a lot of books and pretty inspirational guy, but he was a Navy SEAL for over 20 years. And he started Seal Fit at first for other aspiring men that wanted to go through and become SEALs, to help them prepare for what they call Hell Week, because Hell Week is this brutal week that all men have to go through in order to become a SEAL. They have to go through Hell Week, which is essentially they just beat them down physically, mentally, emotionally for a week on the beaches, in the sand, in the ocean, with like less than 4 hours of sleep over the entire week. And so he started this event called Kokoro to help train these young men that want to come through and ultimately become a SEAL. And then it turned into a lot of civilians started to sign up for it. And so to see if they have what it takes, get a little take, because it's current and active duty Navy SEALs that are running this event. And it's a 52-hour plus event, and it's no sleep, and it's straight through, and they give you a small taste. I'm not trying to compare what Kokoro is to what they go through in Hell Week, but it's very intense.
Right.
And there were 52 people that signed up, they said, and only 28 showed up. So right then and there, that shows you like the caliber of the event. That there's almost half of the people that signed up didn't even show up because they were too scared to come. You know, a few of them maybe had injuries or other excuses, but or reasons. But when it comes down to it, a lot of them were just scared or unsure of themselves that they could do what it took to complete it. So 28 of us showed up, and then ultimately 9 of us finished. So that shows you, again, 28 people dropping like flies throughout the event. A lot of them didn't meet the standards. They're very strict standards that they had required for you to be able to just earn your way to see if you had what it took to finish. And so 9 of them finished, and then ultimately one of the men died, like literally died the second after. And so it was just really, really sad. Number one, right?
What did that do to you? Like, you know, knowing that this is something that you wanted to do. This is something that you're challenging yourself to do. And I'm sure there had to be a lot of self-talk and motivation going on in your head. But once he died.
Well, first, to just get to where I was to be able to finish, when I signed up in March, this was of 2016, and the event was in September. So 6 months prior, and I weighed like 275 pounds. And there was no way I was going to, I knew I couldn't show up 275 pounds and finish. So I had work to do. So I lost like 45 pounds. I did the work. I was, dedicated. I knew what I wanted. I was clear on what I wanted and why it mattered to me. And it caused me to go out and take the steps in spite of the thoughts and the stories that I had in my head that were telling me, you can't do this. You're not good enough. Who do you think you are? All of the internal dialogue that we all have, that, like when it goes back from earlier, keeps us from doing it. Like keeps us like, I'm too stupid to quit. I'm too stupid to listen to those and allow them to stop me.
Right.
A lot of people use perfection as something to hide behind. Really, it's just the stories that they're believing to be true that keep them from really going after their dreams. So that's what you're doing here with this podcast.
Thank you.
Ultimately, that's what got me to get through this grueling experience, physically, emotionally, mentally. It was one of the most challenging things I've ever done. And then to experience another guy that just that died right there.
Wow.
Right after we finished, like did everything he could, held on to the last second, and then fortunately, yeah, I mean,
wow.
it had never happened before at that event, and it hasn't happened since. But to experience that, the biggest lesson, and, I talk about learning lessons and taking lessons.
Yes.
Everything that happens in my life and applying it so that I can continue to move myself forward. And you can find a gift or a lesson in anything, even in death. And it might be hard for some people to think or hear, but for me, it was how can I honor him in the way that he lived? His name is Kurt, and he was 32. He had a 3 and a 1-year-old kid, married. It was the day of his wedding anniversary. So just imagine, there's a wife and 2 young kids that really probably hardly will have any memories of their father because they're such a young age.
Yes.
That are going to be without a husband and a father forever. And so I just like, what can I do? How can I take this to move me forward? And it's really just to honor people like that decide to take a stand for what they want and to show up and to really go out and live the life that you want to live your legacy. So,
right. So that's awesome. That is awesome to be able to take the mentality of knowing that, okay, he didn't make it, but I can, in honor of him and his family, to show that at the end of the day, it's worth it. It's worth pushing through with whatever it is that you are, needing to accomplish. And like being over so many lives, just going back to, the Army, because thank you again and again for serving our country at that time. But just the mentality of that, you first have to, like you said, get through all the self-talk and the doubt. And now you have to convince 45 other soldiers to consistently get through whatever self-doubt that they had going on individually so that everybody can be safe. Like, what did that look like? Can you share a story of maybe one of the 45 men that might have been that hard that you had to crack, and motivate?
Yeah, as a leader, it's to get, the simplest form of a definition of a leader is the ability to have others follow you.
Exactly.
And to follow not just me, but to follow the vision or the mission that we had as a platoon and what we were there. And in Kuwait, it was safe in Kuwait. I mean, we were miles from Iraq, which wasn't safe, but we were safe. Nothing really going on in Kuwait at the time, and we were doing camp security. But yet it's stressful. You're away from home. You're in the middle of, a different part of the world for, we were gone for 15 months and to just put it on hold and be gone. And I had never met any of these soldiers prior to the day that we had to report because I got attached from a different unit to this one. So that brought a whole nother set of challenges for me. It's like, all right, here's this guy that we've never met that's supposed to lead us over the next 15 months,
right.
Thousands of miles away from home. And so, for me as a leader, and everybody leads a little bit differently, is just to really get to know each and every individual, to lead, to do what I say I do, to be the standard that they will have to live by, to actually live what I teach and preach, which is kind of my motto in life, is to show up every single day and to own up to the mistakes that you make along the way. Because you'll make some mistakes and bad calls, and just to own those and keep moving forward, to confront when you need to confront, have conversations, and earn the respect of those around you. Really being that example.
Right. That's great. So we're talking about, not leaving a mess. So before you started all of this, is it any point in your life that you felt like you were a mess? I know you said that you had to lose the weight, and there's a lot of people that struggle with that discipline of losing weight. But what was your why? What was your why in doing everything that you set out to do? From one thing to the other, what is your ultimate why? Yeah,
so the why, when we talk about the why inside of the Prosperity Revolution, we talk about what we call a holy cause. A holy cause is this deep-rooted reason why you are going to do the work, why you're going to do what you said you would do, why you will act in spite of, the self-talk or the stories or the thoughts, feelings, emotions, and moods that get in the way of us taking the action we know we need to take. to get what we want. What's the why that's going to drive me on the days that I didn't want to train? Let's say when I'm training for Kokoro and I got to lose all this weight and I got to do all this work just to be able to meet the standards so I can continue and see if I have what it takes. What's going to drive me? What's my holy cause? What's my why on those days when I want to eat the pizza or the ice cream? I know that's not going to get me what I want. When it's raining out or it's cold out and I got to go out and run because I said I would and because that's what's required for me to be able to get to where I need to go. Like, what's that why? And it's a process that we go through, and it's a process of continually asking and questioning your why, because the first few reasons that you're going to tell yourself, like your lizard brain's going to lie to you.
Right.
A bunch of surface level answers that really aren't the real reason why. So you got to dig, and you got to dig deep, and you got to actually sit down and write it out. And so I did. Why do I want to go to Kokoro? And so it was like the first one, to see if I have what it takes. Well, why is that really truly important? Why does it matter that I want to see if it have what it takes? And I would just continue to answer until I really came down to the one. And when I hit it, it was like, man, yeah, that's it. That's going to get me to do what's required, what's necessary every day. And for me, it really, and this is really true for me in just about anything that I do, is I have 3 kids, and I want to not only show them what it's like to set big goals or outcomes in life, but I want to show them what it's like to actually do the work required to accomplish it. And I know that if I don't do that, like, there's going to be someone in their life that will be an example for them. And that scares the shit out of me to think that someone else will be the example for them, because there's a really good chance that I'm not going to approve of that person and the example that they're doing. And a lot of people go through life and just allow others to lead and be the example for the kids. And I don't want that to happen to me. So I am going to be the example for my kids. I want them to see what it's like to not only set big goals, but to act in spite of the thoughts that are trying to keep them from doing the work, and to go out and not always be successful. Like when you talk about the 100-mile run that I attempted, I haven't ran 100 miles yet. I did 64 miles the first time, and
I saw that video too.
Another day, and then I just attempted it again and completed 76. So in October, like, I'm going to do what I said I was going to do.
Exactly.
It hasn't happened yet. I'm not going to call myself a failure. I mean, I ran 76 miles, which is way more than.
Yes, I was on a track team. I just did the 400. So
yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So
so I just keep living and leading a life that I tell others to lead and live themselves. So yes,
and I concur with you as far as, kids, because I have kids. My son is in college now; he's 20, and we have been, me being a single mom, and then I have a goddaughter and a couple of grandkids. So that is what I do, different struggles, and the show that I have totally been transparent. And there's a lot of family members and friends that call me. Even my mother is like, what happened? When did you, what? Because I've always been this private person, but I've always just forged ahead, and never wore what was going on me. And so that's what I model with my son. I'm like, listen, you cannot quit. Once you start something, you have to complete it, regardless if it goes the way you planned it to go. As at least you started it and you completed it, and that's what I believe. Yeah, I believe. So that 100, when I watched that video, and I saw how, you thought that you can continue to go on and they had to stop you because, it's going to be a little dangerous, but I commended you. And when I saw that video, I was like, oh gosh, I really want to talk to him, just because of that, because of the fact that you started a thing, you know what I mean? And yes, you didn't get a chance to complete it that time, but you went ahead and you're going to complete it eventually,
Yeah, I will.
And that's good for your kids. Like you said, you're leading by example. And so now they have no excuse. They have no excuse. Yeah. So you are leaving a legacy, because people don't, we throw that word around, a lot, but people really don't get it, that you want to stand for something and not nothing. You know what I mean? And you don't want to leave your kids in a big mess. You want to like you've done all of these things and you've, completed all these things. So they can take from that and regain energy anytime they're depleted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So tell
life
us.
is hard enough,
Yeah.
I mean, life is hard, especially for kids nowadays. And it's like,
yes, with social media.
You can't save them, but you gotta show them a path and hope that they.
Yes. So what do you have going ahead, Oh, first I want to say thank you to Courtney Blair and to Sam for reaching out because this is awesome. Thank you guys. I love y'all for reaching out and allowing me to interview you, Nate Bailey, the famous. So tell us more about your coaching so that people can be aware if they want to reach out to you.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah. So, well, if you could go to my website, natebailey.speaks.com or coachnatebailey.com, and we have info on the different programs that we do. But yeah, our mission, I work with a good friend of mine, Satem Ali. He is a Super Bowl champion and just powerful, powerful man. And we work. Wow. And we have what we call the Prosperity Revolution. So we have an event called Pro Rev Live, and that's really an event for the masses. I would say it's because we run some high event, high ticket, more expensive. That's just not a reality for everyone. And so this Pro Rev Live is more of a large group. I guess we're not that we're at Tony Robbins level yet, but
you'll be there though. You'll be there.
Next Tony. And so these events are kind of similar to that. 3-day events. They come in. It's a large group, high energy music, but we're also creating a ton of value, impacting, transforming lives. And this is for people that just are going through life and they're like, man, is this it? Or like, I know I'm designed for something better and bigger than this. Or they're going through life and everything on the outside, like, they're kind of, when you're talking with your friends, surface level and putting on this persona that everything is all right, but really deep down inside, they're hurting. Yes, maybe the marriages of what they are telling everybody it is, or maybe the relationship with the kids are just not connected, or business just isn't going the way they wanted, or maybe they've just been overweight and out of shape for a really long time. We're all about winning in all areas of life, not just in one. And so that's what we do inside of all of our events, including Pro Rev Live. We have one coming up October in Dallas, Texas, and we're going to have 500 people in the room. Wow. And it's an amazing event. So we do coaching, and we teach. We have models that we teach and a blueprint and a path for people to follow to get on that track so that they can win in all areas of life. And we do this similar inside of a program we call Man Wealth and Shield Maiden. Man Wealth obviously is for men and Shield Maiden's for women. And they come to Southern California and that experience is amazing as well. So that's kind of a little bit about what we do is we help people to get from where they are to where they want to go. And we help them faster than they would on their own to help kind of break through some limiting beliefs that they might have on themselves. And we give them, there's a way that we live that is very intentional and specific, and we give them that path and help them along that way.
Okay. And also, so guys, I'm definitely going to have the links for you guys. I'm going to get better now that this is going to go to YouTube. I love it. Better with my social media. You got it. But now, also, I'm going to ask you this really quick, and I know we have to go, but you also give back in other ways as far as the Wheels for Water.org. You were part of a 6-member group that worked hard to raise money to supply good, clean water for over, 9,000 students?
Yeah, so we raised money for an organization called Life Water, and the money we were raising was for 9 schools in 9 different towns or villages of Ethiopia for impact over 9,000 kids. It was clean water and like actual bathrooms and latrines. Like it's crazy. You take so many things for granted.
Yes.
In the U.S., like water. Like I can go and get water anytime I want. I can go to the bathroom anytime I want. And these kids are literally walking every day to get their water from like a mud hole that's shared with animals. And it's just really sad to see that. The bathrooms that they have are like literally like holes in the ground, just not safe, not clean, not sanitary, which causes, especially teenage girls, when they start to get to a certain age, their body starts to changes. They don't quit going to school because why? You would too if you didn't have a safe place to go to the bathroom and take care of just personal hygiene. And so by simply being able to provide this water for these kids, they start coming back to school. Like it really just impacts generations for years and years to come simply by being able to provide water. So we raised over $300,000, which is just amazing.
Wow, that is.
We're going to do this, and if we could raise $70,000, that would be great, right? And then it just kind of morphed into this thing where we raised over $300,000, and so we were able to impact over 9,000 kids. And there's 6 of us. We biked from San Diego to Charleston in April, and kind of help her raise awareness for it. And it was an amazing experience.
That also is a part of leaving a legacy. So you went to a whole nother country, with 5 other men, and y'all just put a stamp and left a legacy. And in that, you taught them the same thing, that you can make a difference, just being selfless. That was a selfless act. And there are so many people in the world that they have what it takes to do that, but they're not willing to, and if we all just take just that little time, time is everything, just to give to others that need it. It's like, I think this world would be so different. It'd be such a better place, but it'll be successful as we go with people like you, Nate.
Well, thank you. So
I know that you are a busy man and you have to go, but I want to thank, zippycontentagain.com with Courtney and Sam. Anybody that wants help in getting their book out there, their blog, their content, definitely get in touch with those guys. They're awesome. And definitely look out for Nate Belly and just Google his name, keep on track with what he's doing. He's doing great things. And I don't care what you say, you already up there with, Tony Robbins and, claiming that for you. And I'm definitely going to check out one of your events. One day I'm going to get out there to California.
Yeah, you need to.
Yeah.
I love that.
Is it anything that you would like to leave my visionary dreamers, any thoughts, any words that you would like to leave them with?
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, I've talked about it a little bit already, but just live life one day at a time. Be present. Don't, get stuck in the past and what certain things have happened to you. It doesn't define who you are. You take a stand for yourself today. Take small steps. What we say is, just keep hitting singles. Just little steps each and every day. Add up, and over time you look back and you realize that you came a long ways by not worrying about like what's going to happen tomorrow or what happened the day before, and just staying here, staying today, next step, next breath, and keep moving towards what it is that you want. Take a stand for what you want and go get it. Like, there's no guarantees in this life, just like at Kokoro. That man is 32. He had no plans to not make it out of that. I guarantee you that. And sometimes we just, we don't get to determine when our time is up. So don't wait.
Yes. Thank you. Said it better than I could. But you definitely have. I thank you so much, because these are the things that I talk about all the time. So I'm going to sign off now before they sign us off. And I just want to thank you again, Nate Belly, for coming on and embracing us with your presence here at Chronicles of Living podcast show. And this is, guys, Adionne, your host. This is the show for everyday people doing everyday things, living everyday life. And I am your dream pusher, hopefully saving you from the world, from yourself, and from some real bullshit. And you are listening to Chronicles of Living podcast show, the show for everyday people doing everyday things, living everyday life. It's normal, folks. And we're signing off. Thank you guys for joining us. Peace. I love you guys. Thank you, Nate.
Hey, thank you.
All right. Thank you for listening to Chronicles of Living, where we talk to everyday people about everyday things in the past, present, and future. And if you are pursuing your dreams, I'm proud of you. Because the best part of life is when you decide to live. To keep up with us, please visit chronicles-of-livin-podcast. Until next time, this is Adionne, your dream pusher. I love you guys.